If you don't know Pathfinder and you've been absolutely clueless, don't worry. I'm here for you. We'll get through this 1 minute at a time. That being said, let's get started. Now, in this little video that I'm making for you, I'm going to do two parts. I'm going to go over the UI of Pathfinder, and then I'm actually going to go fly around and update Pathfinder and show you how it actually works. Now, starting with the UI, you have a bunch of these little panels everywhere. Straight at you in your face is going to be the map. Map panel is definitely the most useful panel. It is the reason Pathfinder exists. Everything else is kind of supportive. From there to the right, we have routes, structures, Thera connections, W space, and signatures. Oh, can't forget killboard. And also hiding away is connections, which only shows up whenever you click a connection. You can get this away by doing control click. But that being said, let's start with the map. The map has 4 distinct features. It's going to be the top right little tabs. These are all individual maps with their own kind of map on it. We use reference and a natural map. This is a way for us to kind of just document holes that we run into, and the actual map we use to path around. Top right corner, all these buttons, which I will go into as we run into them. Then you have the map itself, and a very interesting part is your friends. Get into all that one by one, but let's start with just simply adding a system. Now with Pathfinder, as long as you're logged into the same account on both Pathfinder and an Eve, it will automatically add systems for you. But just so you know how to do it manually, in case you ever need to, let's do one manually. Let's go down here, across this D6 chain. We're going to right click the space, add system. We're going to select some system name, J111. Let's grab a J system. We'll leave all these info blank because we'll get into them later. And voila, system has been added. Now looking at this little tab, we get a bit of information from it without having to click on it or look at any other tabs. This little square thing shows us the C-class number of that system and the static connections it has. I know it has a C3 static, a C4 static, and itself is a C4. Do you know there is other information that can be presented, such as the top right corner will be the local effects. So this one's a pulsar, and it gives us based off the C-class number, the actual effects, because they are all different based off the C-class number. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we can see this is a shattered. Back up to this one up here that we're making, we want to change the name to fit our schema. We can double-click the name and change the name. We can drag it around by hovering over the C-class number, and we can connect it to the map by dragging the name. We can set it as a rally point, and that will make it nice, bright, and shiny. We can lock the system, which will not let us move it or delete it. And we can finally set the status. Now finally is also waypoints. Waypoints doesn't really work well for any actual pathing within the wormhole, but what does work very well for is if you're in high sec and you need to get back to the wormhole, you can right click any high sec areas and waypoint, set destination, and it automatically goes to your route. So we covered how to modify the system, but how do you modify the wormhole? Well, same way. We're going to right click it, and you're given a bunch of options. You have toggle EOL, mass size, ship size, and preserve mass. Toggle EOL is probably going to be the most commonly used. You can click it to do so. Purple indicates that that wormhole is EOL, and if you go over to the first button on the top right, hover over, you will see that the time has now been added. You can see on the lower one that it's been EOL for 2 hours 56 minutes. You can see towards the very left that that one's been EOL for 5 minutes. And you can see the one I've added has been EOL for some weird amount of time. That seems to be a glitch. 0 minutes, there we go. Changing the mass size alerts people to know that mass has been placed on that wormhole, and changing the ship size lets people know that they might not be able to fit in it. This is very useful when you got JITA routes and it's small or medium and you're trying to go get a large ship through. It's better to be able to look at the map and know that you cannot fit rather than showing up and getting rejected. So let's go ahead and do our first delete. You can either right click and click delete, or you can select a multiple and right click, click delete. Let's go and delete our one system, and it is gone. So as mentioned, you get all the information about the local effects, but you also can get information about who is there that's friendly of yours. If I come on over to this, he just added a path. If I come on over to this D, we can see Nicias here is in a legion. If I come on over to this newly added system that he's making, you can see Josh is in an Astero. I can also come over to this buddies tab and click here and see what everyone's in and see their names. So we've added a system, we've modified its status, we've modified its connection status, and we found our friends on the map. Everything else is basically going to be a different tab that we will cover, but before we do that, we have to actually select a system. All these other tabs are dependent on the current selected system, not the current system that you are in. So I'm going to go ahead and select D4, and we're going to move on over to the routes area. We can see from D4 that is a close connection to Didixie, and the path to take would be to go from D4 through this wormhole. We have 3 buttons in this top right hand corner. It's going to be to set defaults, which we have set as the major trade hubs. Search for a temporary, which you can type in anything. Select it. Shortest or secure. And then make sure you disclick Thera, because you don't want to go through Thera, and make sure you disclick Bubble, because you do not want to go through bubbles. Let me choose a different system, just for sake of explaining. We put Bill. Search. And I can see from the current system I have selected, which is D4, it is 3 wormhole jumps, and I am there. I can click Safest, and it'll give me the safest route. It's already the safest route. That was dumb with me. Click Safest, and it'll give me a safer route. I can click Delete, and it's gone. So for moving on to structures, I decided to go find an orange system, and I can see structures are here. You can see who added them. Adhocracy seems to have added them, and there's different methods to add. You got the atypical add, which you go through manually adding everything. Or you can do the dscan add. Just copy paste from your dscanner. You can copy paste everything from dscan and it'll toss it and parse it and clean it up for you. Thera connections, probably the least used tab of mine. If you want to find Thera, these are the systems where you can find Thera. Now down to W space. W space is, I think, the most underrated tab. My corp currently doesn't even use it, and I might even bring it up to them. Click on a system, and you get this big old notepad area. You can leave any notes. Was ganked earlier. Put a date and add a time. Now people know. Click save. The note stays there. One important thing when you do like us and you have a different naming convention is that it does show you the J system name. Now remember, this is for whatever system you have activated. From there, we go down to signatures, the most important tab in my opinion. On Pathfinder, you can just find whatever you need to do that day. If you want to go do some gas, you click a system. I always click group, make it simple to look at, and then you can find it. No gas in this system. Next one. Shattered. It's probably going to have gas. Group. And it has gas. Cool. I know where to go now to go get some gas. There's basically 2 buttons you're going to press in here. Lazy delete and group. So aside from lazy delete and group, you do have to, when you are uploading data, modify it slightly. So for wormholes, you want to kind of say where they're going. You can click here, and it'll give you the type. all you gotta do is click a wormhole and you will be given their type. You can click here. We like to put in the description the actual destination it's going to, and you can click the actual destination. Finally, before I forget it, kill board. Not really used often, but sometimes the system has a kill board, and it'll link it for you. This poor guy died. But hold on with me. I understand. Oh, you kind of rushed this. You didn't show this. I'm going to go through. I'm going to go scan some stuff out for you. We're going to do this together. And I'm going to barely be able to talk you through these couple points, especially lazy delete. Very powerful tool right there. Alright, so I'm actually on my way to go film some footage for you. And just so happened, someone rolled off B, an enemy. So here's a multi-delete. Just going to select all the red ones. We're doing delete. Goodbye. Get out of here. E is actually the new B. He just misnamed it wrong. Change that to B. And yeah, and how did I tell? I did a Control A, Control C. I then went down to Pathfinder. And I went down to here. Lazy delete, Control V. And it deleted the old system automatically, which was our B. See how we have A, D, E? It deleted the B. Alright, I am now in D6. It is an unscanned system by any of us. Someone has come in, marked the back way out, and went back the way they came. Drop my probes. Gauge my cloak. Reference the Pathfinder. And we will see there's no signatures. No signatures whatsoever. Come back over here. Control A, Control C. Lazy delete inside signatures. And they're now here. Do note, if you try to lazy delete in a different system, it does warn you, and you can click cancel. Now I'm here. I can see from here that it has 2 guaranteed statics, a C4, which could be this D4, and a high sec. Alright, I just got everything scanned down finally. As you can see, I found a bunch of wormholes, and I saved their actual location. Now it's time for actually populating. So I'm going to do the classic Control A, Control C. Bring on over Pathfinder, do Control V. You'll see there's no real sorting so far. So as I enter these, I'm going to figure out their sig name. It's either next to it, or I can just see whatever one I'm closest to. So QTU, come on over here to here. QTU. QTU is, what did I name this one? D14. I can now enter it. entering it, finish clicking this. Just gotta click away and it'll fill it out. Its type is Y683. Y683. Doesn't know where it goes yet because it hasn't populated, but as we go through, we will see this populate right here. Sensitive. Alright, first thing I'm going to do now that I entered is name it the correct name, which is D14. I'm going to move it somewhere. Might as well be here. I know it's a large, ship size large. It has no mass, so no need to do anything. Check local. It doesn't really seem too occupied, but I'm not going to mess with the status. And then I'm going to come back over here, save location, star home inside the D chain. I'm going to grab everything that's inside here, even though I'm not going to scan it down. Come back to Pathfinder, select this as my current, Control V, and I'm going to head back and do that to the rest of them. That is just about all done for populating. We can look back at our good work here. We have added a good section to the chain. All these are larges, we can tell because there's the white outer ring on all the ones we have entered. Could take your time to make it prettier. That'll be good enough right there. And if we click on any of these, they'll have all the information. But now finally for this. Where does it go? I saved the description where they go. Now I just go through and add D13, D14, D11, and the high sec. It's completely done, and all the information is there. If someone wants to come all the way out here for this relic site, and they haven't clicked on this, saw the relic site, they show up, I have the location saved for them. And if they want to expand the chain, they can click one of these. I can technically set all these as unscanned. And it's very clear to them that it's unscanned, but even then it shows kind of what's there. Because I was in there, why not grab all the info? I mean, they might want to know how many unscanned, how many combat sites. I mean, combat sites only been given to you and or, but it's just good to know. That is how you use Pathfinder. I hope this helped. You have a great day. You fly safe.